This is Justin AMZN on Tuesday, May 21st, 2019. Taking a look at how things played out today in the 5-minute. We did get a gap up, and it was a retest gap since yesterday was a bullish candle. Had a really nice high wave candle. Didn't quite get up here into our 1880.05 price. Made a really nice consolidation here. Let me zoom in on just the day. Really nice consolidation, inside candle, and then broke down. This was, let's see, almost a shave top. I came into a really nice hammer here. Looked like it was going to hold, started to get bought back up, and then within that same 5-minute, just collapsed back into that same candle range. And then we had another nearly shaved top candle breaking down even further. And from here, it's like, oh wow, we're just collapsing. Maybe it'll get back down to 1841.30, and it didn't do that. Put in another hammer here, inside candle, started rally, had a nice high wave candle, just about, let's see if my cursor will work. The high here was 1863.06, not quite up to our line, but really close, and retesting back into that same hammer, where then rolled over. Again, rolling over and just didn't quite get down far enough to our line, but started to recover a little bit. And, we took out the low of this hammer. We held the low here, but then this candle took it out, and that was it. The bears didn't have any more to push down below there. Bulls started coming in and buying that back up. Rallied into the 21. Looked like bears are going to try and push down some more, holding this high. Just popped up above that a little bit. So I love seeing these small candles in here. Started to roll back over, and this is bears again trying to push this lower. We got a squeeze forming here. Got a hammer, inside candle. I think another inside candle. A lot of these small, really small 15-minute triangles here that then got a little bit of a pop, and then just went sideways right at the 21. Really just squeezing here into this really tiny triangle, and this would have been a great opportunity. It felt like a Wednesday, honestly, because right up into 1 o'clock, whenever there's a FOMC or something, some announcement, whatever the Fed is doing, that things kind of quiet down ahead of that, and then they have a big move after. And it was early for that to be happening. Obviously, it wasn't right at 1 o'clock, but 15 minutes early, it just started to pop. And it's like, this doesn't feel like a normal Tuesday to have this happening. And I think there is something like that tomorrow for Wednesday. So we'll see if we do have any sort of consolidation ahead of that announcement over this lunch hour, Central Time lunch hour, and see if we can get a pop after that. But that's for tomorrow. For here today, this is a great place to really kind of take a step back. It's like we got lower highs, we have higher lows. We took out this low with this candle, then we immediately recovered. We've held it here, we've consolidated. We're actually, if you kind of draw some channels, we're going down. Okay, we're not down as steep, not down as steep, starting to go up a little bit. We're just consolidating, not really going back up yet. And yeah, it could easily just roll back down here. And instead it popped and had a really nice run. Get back up to about this high into this same candle with this, with bears coming in here and here and here, got above them, and then just sat right here in this line again, sort of making this look like a double top. And that's where we actually ran back down a little bit today. But the, a couple of key moves were breakdown here, going bearish, and then this consolidation here and going bullish. And, a great target was right at this line on both of these. Almost got there here. It just, the two trades that really looked clean were the ones that were, reverting back into our 1863.84 price. So if we take the other thing I was going to say is this looks really messy. Excuse me. It's really hard to draw a triangle in here. Maybe I can get some lower lows, but the lower highs are really steep. Whenever I'm having a hard time seeing the shape of what's going on, I'm always looking for triangles. I'll zoom out. And in this case, zooming out kind of makes this a little more clear. And I haven't drawn this in yet, but I think we were drawing some triangles up here looking for something like this. And if I do similar drawing like this, and I'm cutting through some of these levels, but this looks like we're really consolidating. If we get another day in this range, doesn't necessarily have to stay between 1880.05 and 1863.84. Doesn't have to stay there, but if it does, it's going to be really sideways. It's going to show that, okay, something is building. There's some momentum that is going to get going out of this. And I mean, really, it does set up for this kind of a move. With an announcement tomorrow with FOMC. So possibly bullish. That's kind of the direction that I'm looking at this to go. I still think that, let's see, let me come back over to the daily. So looking at the daily, there we go. Okay. So all we did today was we came back right into this level. We had a retest gap. We rejected the 21 and sold back down. This really looks like, okay, this could be our next, rollover location, our next S curve, on our way down. Like this, this is the S curve here, and we're going to continue going lower. This was a really strong value. This was our, kind of our quick retest, normal retest, and then a secondary retest of that level. We held that really well. We've still held above this candle. Like, remember how strong this candle was the other day? You can go back and watch the video from the 15th. And this was a really strong candle breaking out of here. And when we were down here, my gut was saying, we're going to go higher. And, there was, just a lot of sentiment saying, oh, we're just going to break down, but there weren't any more bears to send us lower. It feels similar to that here, that the bears are trying to push this lower. All we need tomorrow, I mean, it is a big deal, but it's like all we really need, if we get a gap up above here, up above 1880, let's see the high here. If we get a gap above 1880, why is that? Hang on a sec. Okay. Yeah, if we get a gap above this price, we'll be trapping all the bears from today, and there were a lot of them early in the day. We could continue higher and do it quickly. If we get a gap that gets above this candle as well, I mean, you're trapping all these bears. You're showing that this is really, this is really the bounce. This turns into a double bottom then. And let's see, the last time we had a nice double bottom like that. Let's see, somewhere, here we go, this one. Now this one kind of just grinded up, and we could totally do that. So I may be way off base to say that we're going to get back up to new all-time highs in 8 to 10, trading days. That sounds crazy. It really does. We could get above this high, but I mean, it's still possible to get up there. From right here, we could still have a chance to pull back even further, come back down to this level, right around 1747. That's a great place to pull back to if we do take out this low. I think that's where if we take out this low, I think that's where we're going to go, back down here. And if we get below that, I'm going to get the feeling like I got here. It's like we shouldn't be this low, just like up here. We shouldn't really be this high. We shouldn't be back above that level. It's like if we get below this, if we were to come back down into like this line, this yellow line, I really don't think I need this one. Let's get rid of that one. It's been on here long enough. The yellow line, let's keep that in here. Let's see if there's any chance, if we do come lower, that we come down to this level and get a bounce from there, because that would be a phenomenal buying location. I don't think we'll get down there, but a lot of times where I think we won't get somewhere, it turns out that if you just wait a little longer, we do. So maybe someday it'll be back down there, but I'm still seeing another wave of bullishness coming in. And I think it's just, we got to read what's going on the daily and on the 5-minute to see, okay, what are we going to do out of this? This is definitely consolidation. You can see the higher lows and lower highs. You can come back over here, if you just kind of draw this. we could get another small candle up here. We could stay in this range. There are some things that could happen that just make us go sideways a little bit more before we have a big directional move. But if we do, so similar to what we did back here and back here, is we had some bigger bullish candles that came in immediately. So if we get a candle like this or a candle like this, those are going to be the signals to say, okay, we're going to go. And then it's just a matter of time to see how quickly we do it. If we do it like this, or if we do it like this. So, I mean, with this candle, we were 2/3 of the way there in a day, and then it took 8 days to get the rest of the way up. If we can do something like that, like let's just imagine that. Oh, I can't see this close. There we go. No, I want to see the corner. Can't see it. Okay, let me try this again. I'm going to need to push this a little lower. Is this going to work? No. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. Okay. Can't get the chart to cooperate. I guess if I keep that in there, it will a little bit. Okay. Can I do this way? What is it? Let me do. No. Okay. Anyway, sorry. If we get a bigger candle, let's say this candle, it had a range of 110 bucks. Let's say we get that candle on a gap up above the close. Let's say we get it above the open, and we add that to 1880. 1880 and 150 or 110 bucks is 1990. 1990 is, what line is this? Oh yeah, 1990. We have a line right there. That would be 19. That would add 110 bucks. Do we get there tomorrow? That seems impossible. I don't know how we would do that. If something crazy happens and we do, I mean, look at all the bears that are trapped on the way up. So many stops would be hit on the way up. Totally possible to do it, but it does sound crazy. And we haven't had a big, massive candle like this since we had a big, massive sell-off like that. So that was part of the setup of this. Like, this was a clear downtrend. We were reversing here. After that, we went sideways for a couple months. These consolidations, let's see, this one probably with, where we held a bottom and held the downtrend like this. I'm going to count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Really the 10th day we were breaking out of that. So let's look at some of the similar where kind of we gapped down and we really held that gap pretty well. I mean, we closed it here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10th day is tomorrow. We'll see if we have some sort of break from this consolidation tomorrow. Bullish, trapping these bears, bearish, continuing with these bears, trapping the bulls. And again, the same thing. If you do 110 bucks from, let's say, from the low here, so from 1841.30 going 110 is going to be down. What's that? What is this? It's going to be pretty close to our 1720. Is it 1727? It's not. It's nothing. That's weird. I can't even select that. It's like 7. Oh, there was 1728. It's around that 1728 price. I don't know why it's not letting me pick that line. Nope, not working. All right, 110 bucks down is 1728-ish, 1730. 110 bucks up is 1990. I mean, either one of those seems really extreme, but it's a really good consolidation, and we'll see what kind of move we get. We should get some sort of move with a consolidation like this at this level with the way the markets have been. And even with this one, we had a start of a move. It took a while to go, but we ended up going from, what was the low here? 1798 up to this high at 1921. Is that 1798? So that was 120, around 120. 120. Oh, wait. high here. No, I grabbed the wrong price. The high here was 1964, and the low here was about 1800. So yeah, we're closer to 166 on that move. So I mean that was from here to here. How would you have known that this move was going to happen coming out of consolidation? It's just we trapped some folks here. We got going. We were clearing. We're clearing some of these highs, taking out more bears, taking out these bears. These are the last few bears holding on once we get up here. I don't even know if we're going to pause at 20, 50, and 50 cents. There'll be some selling, but if we get above these guys, wow, look out. Like this thing could really continue to run. So I'd love to see that. I don't know if it has the momentum, but we're storing some up right now. Let's see if we switch over to the hourly. I haven't done this on this chart in a while. I'm going to squeeze there. I can't even change anything here. Okay, so back to the daily on this one. There we go. And on this one, let's go to the hourly and see what gets warped. Okay. Oh yeah, so I still have these other, I don't like how that sits, but there we go. Still have these other triangles drawn in here. I'll have to get rid of those. Get rid of these lines. When we get back up here at some point, the price around about 1925 is going to be a contender because that was your consolidation point on a lot of this. And so if we get there, that's probably the first big target. Well, the first target is 1925. We get above 1880 and chop around right here. See if we can hold that high. See if we can pull back to 1900. And then rally off a nice round number. That's what I would picture is if we could break out here. Actually, let me move back this way a little more and then draw it. So if we can do something like this, if we can gap and we gap here, or if we gap here, either one of those is really bullish. We should easily run up like this, do something like that. Or if we get up here, we should probably chop around on this a little bit more before going higher, because it's already right there. I mean, that's the next place to clear. Bears are going to be hopping on, trying to push it lower, and they'll succeed some because it'll be there'll be some that are taking some bulls that are taking profit off of this little move, turns into a double bottom. But I mean, you see the double bottom. Oh, that was bad. Undo that one. There we go. Here is the double bottom. I'm seeing. So where could that go? It's not a double bottom yet. I mean, it has to actually come back up here to be a double bottom. And then we see if it does this and this. But that's what I'm picturing. That's kind of what makes the most sense. If we can get going like this, going up bullish. So I guess we'll see. See what we end up doing. Let's zoom back into the 5. And the couple areas we're looking at were this breakdown. So getting in bearish on the 850 candle, that would have been tough, but we'll take a look at puts. The 850 candle, that was right here. So that one started a gap. This is the 1800 puts, and you could have still gotten in 4x3, and that would have run up to 6. It's pretty quick, pretty easy 3R. If we go to 1825, a little less volume here, a little more expensive. And the 850 candle, the range on that was still under $100. So this you could have been getting in like 7x6 or something close to that. And that went up to 11 easily. So that's 4R. That would be nice. 1850, that's going to be really close. So much more expensive. Yeah, that one's harder to do with $100 risk. 1850 candle was 250. That's less than I thought, actually. Then it retested on that one back to these highs. So you could have been technically getting in like 13 by probably 11. Still too much, but I mean, it'd be nice if there's a nice in between. So like 1840. I like sticking with the big ones, but these things still move too. So 850 candle, retest. This came down not quite to 10. Oh, would have been nice to do 10 by 9. That doesn't look like that would have worked here. But then that ran up to 16, 17. That would have been great. So, and then the other trade we were looking at, well, here, let me put this back to 1850. And then the other trade was this popping here. And so as this just goes sideways, I mean, you have the squeeze, it goes into a squeeze, comes out of a squeeze, goes back into a squeeze, you get the turn of momentum. Actually, let's take a look at that a little bit. Yeah, the turn of momentum happens here as it breaks out. So that candle is the 1245 candle. So let's go look at calls. This is the 1900 calls on the 1250 candle. That was right here. On 1900 calls, that was hardly moving at all. Right here, you could have been getting in like 450 by 350 or 450 by 4, and that ran up to 550. So that, if you did 450 by 4, that would have been 2R up to 550. Let's get a little closer. Let's see. 1875, the next nice round number, and look at the low volume. Wow, that's really crazy. So this would have been, what was it, 1245, that's right. So this, you could have been getting in 11 by 10. Right? 11 by 10, maybe that wouldn't, maybe if you had waited till it broke out, that would have been probably 12 by 11. And that would have held because the low here was when we left the low behind. But 12, if you did 12 by 11, it did run up to 14. But that would have been a little bit more challenging because such low volume here. It's really spready too. So I like the idea of going out a little bit more. Let's go 1880 because that's where we have a price, or a nice level. And let me get rid of this because I haven't turned off the defaults. There we go. Okay, so here's your 1245. This will work 10 by 9. I like that actually. 10 by 9 still only went up to 12. So it's hard to go bullish here. The bears were, they were doing the initial opening move. We did retrace some of it. Didn't quite get to this high. So yeah, I probably would have been either stopped out for a small loss or trailed out if I was aggressive with my stop up on this. And the way it just kind of grinded higher, I probably would have had a stop at like 10.25. No, I probably would have been at break even at 10. And then once it popped here, it's like, oh, good, we're going. And then when it just paused here, I probably would have moved my stop to like 11. And then as it came down and it hit the $11 price and stopped me out, I probably would have had some slippage because that's what always seems to happen. And so what I'm seeing here is I would have gotten in 10 by 9 and gotten trailed out at like 10.75 probably, because there's going to be some slippage on that kind of pullback. But less than an R would have been nice to just grab it if it did actually hit 12 there, but I don't know if that would have been filled. We're right at 12, so that was probably some buyer instead of some seller at that price. But anyway, I hope this helps to kind of dive into some of the options and see what's going on here. Let's see, I haven't shown this in a while yet. Let's go back to Paul Grid. That's this one, restore. There. Restore cell, there you go. All right, so you can see, wow, that just is not what I wanted to say. I was just looking at today. Close enough. All right, there you go. So you can see that you have the initial breakdown, bounce, S-curve down, sell down, bounce, S-curve down, putting the low down here, share to bounce, pull back a little bit. These calls at 1880 are following this really well, and then obviously puts are doing the opposite. So these are being bought up, all these are being sold, and trap some folks here with that inverted hammer, pulls back, and then that came right into this candle's level. So that right here, we came back into this candle. Oh, that is the one. There you go. So that was where, you could have gotten in this is still 1850, but a little more expensive, but could have been getting in on this candle. The range in that is still $1.45. He wouldn't have been doing 1850, probably 1825. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, much lower volume. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong one. There we go. Let's look at that. Okay. Why don't those go opposite directions? There you go. That rally pulled back to here. Really small volume, small range, and then it starts to bounce again. So this would have been getting in near this candle. The low here was the low here was 768. So probably looking for a pullback into that level, like doing 8x7. Let's see, the low here was 812. I don't know if that would have flown. That would have been the back candle. But roll back down to this jog to get there. Once we put in that, we're just pulling back. And that's where this started to ramp on the call. So the only thing that really set that up was some consolidation here and then the double top here, but those are the candles. So let's make sure we're familiar with those. Next one, this one again. All right, there we go. You can see the triangle. You can see this start to break out, and that looks similar to yesterday. Kind of a triangle, then that one broke down and recovered. This one broke out and then recovered or pulled back. And it's a matter of, are we going to have, from where we ended yesterday doing this and having to gap up, are we going to have to gap up, trap anyone down here? If we can at least gap into, upper 1860s or, get above 1880, those would be ideal locations for this thing to start really moving. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.